Hello Captains, I present you a preview of a software that I developed. It's called STO Client. This application will help you to handle the Keybind file loading by the usage of global hotkeys inside of Windows to copy the chat commands into your clipboard. STO Client can handle drag and drop of files and directories, aka folders, to add Keybind files into the list. Inside the list you can select the item and slot it inside hotkey slots. There are 3 slots for the Keybind files. Also, it will have the possibility to change the hotkeys for each slot, but at the moment it's not implemented. For visual guidance, the list items can be tagged for mark them as ground space Keybind files. This is the list of Keybind files. This is the global hotkey section where you can assign files to slots. And this is the tag section where you can mark your files for space or ground. Now I will go into the details. So this is the files list. Each item has a name, it's just the name of the file. Beneath of that you see the file path completely. Okay, it's that display. I'm gonna change that once. On the left side you see a tag picture. And if it's marked as a hotkey, you see a flame and the number of the slot. Beneath of the list you see buttons for moving inside of a list and remove items from the list. So I'm going to demonstrate it. It goes up, down. And if I want to remove someone, I press remove and it's gone. Beneath of these buttons is the to clipboard button. It's an easy thing. You press the clipboard and this command over here is copied to your clipboard. So if you want to change only one Keybind file at the moment, so this is your friend. First I'm gonna show you the tagging. The tagging is not necessary, but it helps a lot. When you see the Star Trek Online logo, it's untagged. Select an item and press the tag. So you see the picture changes, so it's tagged. This is for space. I take this for the ground RPG mode. You see this picture, and I use this one, and that's for ground shooter mode. So only in ground you see, when you tagged for the ground, you see a log. It's meant that way. Only on ground you have to load 2 different files, one for the standard RPG, so the standard playing, and another one if you go into shooter mode. So when you press this, it's meant that way, or that you're gonna use this file for both for RPG and shooter mode. The tagging is done. Now the important thing. You want to assign something to the slots. So these are the slots. This is the space slot. This is the ground RPG slot. And this is the ground shooter slot. Select a wanted file in the list and press an assign button. So you see the picture changes. And when you want to unassign, you press this button and it's gone. I do it again. So that means this file assigned to the space slot, and the hotkey gonna be Shift and F6. I do it for this. I'm gonna assign into ground shooter slot. It's gonna be Alt F6, and the ground RPG slot. See, it's gonna be Control and F6. There's a special slot, the F6, unbind all. That's only a command, it's not a file. It's only the command to revert everything to the standard from the Star Trek Online client. So when you use this F6, you can paste it over in the chat box, and yeah, and you're done. To reset all the signs, press this button, and that's it. So I'm gonna demonstrate what happens when you press this kind of keys, right, when you use it then. So I'm gonna open Notepad, and just a small hint, this is the settings what I used, right? This is the file. This is the only file what's or which my software gonna create. So when you restart, you have the list again together. So when you move a file out of it, you can't display that. So be aware of that. Don't delete that. Or if you want to start over again, delete it and start. So I'm gonna clear this. Okay, let's do it like in the wild. Okay, I press this. This is a tagged. Assign over here. Assign over here and assign over here. See that? And I press the activate global hotkeys. I press Shift and F6 for this one. See? And press Ctrl V for assign. So it's assigned. So I'll make the picture a little bit, the window a little bit bigger. So you see, that's going to be the file loading command inside Start with Online in the chat command, and that's the convenient way. You don't have to type all things in, you know, so your file can be everywhere and you can load it over here. So I do it again for the next file. I press Ctrl and F6, press Ctrl and V. You see, it's the next file. Alt and F6, Ctrl V, and that's it. So I press F6 and Ctrl V, and that's it. Now I want to show you how to load up Keybind files inside of Star Trek Online. So first things first, I display your list again to see which command is which. So F6 is gonna be for unbind all, Shift and F6 is for the space slot. That is what we want to do now in space. So I gonna display you the command chain. So I'm gonna press Shift and F6. Then I press Enter to start the chat. Ctrl V and Enter again. I'm gonna try to show you that again inside of Star Trek Online. I have a slightly problem to display that. So I repeat. Shift F6 to load the file in the clipboard, the command. Press Enter to start the chat. Paste it in with Ctrl and V and press Enter again and it's done. So for quick, Shift F6, Enter, Ctrl V, Enter. That's it for space. Now I want to show you how to load up the Keybind files for the ground. So I start over. It's Ctrl and F6 to load the RPG file. Then I press Enter to start the chat. Press Ctrl and V. Paste it in the text and Enter. Then I change to the shooter mode by pressing the B key. I press Alt and F6 to load the shooter mode file. Press Enter to start the chat. Ctrl V to paste it inside the chat. And Enter again to confirm. And then I go out of the shooter mode by the B key. So that's the sequence. You couldn't see that on screen because I have slightly problems to display the keyboard when I'm inside of the game client. So I'm gonna switch over and I hope the virtual keyboard gonna be on the screen, but I think it's gonna disappear. So I'm gonna repeat that over there again. So now I'm in the client. I'll press Ctrl F6. Now I have it in the clipboard. Press Enter. Ctrl V. See, ground standard.txt. Enter. Now I change into shooter mode by pressing the B button. See, my HUD is changing. Then I press Alt and F6. Enter to start the chat. Ctrl V to paste another file in. You see, ground with trace.txt something. And press Enter to confirm. Then I press B to get out of the shooter mode. And that's it. Easy like that. Now that we use the software like it's gonna be, I forgot something. The most important thing, because it's in the name, it's a dropper. So I'm gonna show you how to use the dropper thing. You see, I reset it all. I remove all files, and here inside I have a list of files. See, a big, huge one. So he's gonna recognize only files that are txt at the moment. So when I drop it in, nothing happens. When I put this in, something happens. You see, I can put one by one inside. If it's the wrong one, nothing happens. So I can select a couple of them. I can select all, even if they are folders. So I'm gonna display that. So I'm gonna remove every file. You see, it's a long list and a shorter list. Yep, and I drop a whole folder, and every file that's a txt file gonna be recognized. The files are not scanned inside, so this software is only to make these commands. So it's gone. If you put something in that's not a Keybind file and it's a txt, so be aware of that. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe we can see us later, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna be finished this software to go out into the wild, but some people are using it at the moment. It's a convenient way. So hope for responses.